Welcome to the Excellence at Work podcast, where we explore the strategies and best practices that drive business success. I'm Rochelle Cook, COO of Brandon Hall Group and the host of our podcast, along with members of our executive team. In each episode, we'll dive into the latest trends, insights, and real-world examples from some of the most exciting leaders from organizations worldwide. Be part of our journey and learn from the best as we discuss innovative approaches and cutting-edge technologies for talent management, learning and development, leadership, diversity and inclusion, and more.
Hi, everyone. This is Michael Rochelle, Chief Strategy Officer and Principal Analyst at the Brandon Hall Group. Thank you for joining another Excellence at Work podcast. I have with me here Guillaume Gérard from CrossKnowledge. And Guillaume, can you give a quick introduction to the audience?
Hi, everyone. Very pleased to be on this podcast, Michael. Thank you very much for having me. So I'm Guillaume Gérard. I'm the CEO for CrossKnowledge, a company that has been pioneering digital learning for over 25 years.
We're going to talk about the evolution of skills-based training to capability-driven organizational transformation. It's a mouthful, but it's a lot, and it's top of everyone's minds. How has your vision for the future of learning evolved? So it's kind of like, can you look back to look forward?
Yeah, 25 years was clearly a very significant milestone for us. It was a moment to reflect on exactly that, what we had achieved looking back, basically, and looking forward, what we wanted to do for the next 25 years, I would say. I mean, although we are not looking that far, really. So our founders started with a simple but very powerful belief that making learning accessible and strategic will help organizations adapt and thrive. Well, really, this belief still holds true as far as we're concerned at CrossKnowledge, 25 years down the line. But the landscape has evolved massively. It's a different world. It would be naive to fully acknowledge that in its full extent. So today, it's no longer just about delivering learning, as it was when we coined the term e-learning back in 2000. It's about driving measurable impact, improved performance, stronger engagement, and real business outcomes. That's really what clients are asking us to help them achieve. And that's why we've evolved to, as an organization. We are not just a learning provider. Learning remains at the heart of what we do, very obviously, but we do not support our clients just with that. We now build the systems, the processes, and cultures that enable true transformation. It's about helping organizations turn learning into lasting change. That's why I guess we are talking about organizational development these days just as much as digital learning. And as we look to the future, we are driven by what is certainly for now a bold vision, which is to redefine how organizations grow by making learning not just a function, but a catalyst for innovation, resilience, and competitive advantage. We believe that the next frontier isn't just smarter learning, as I like to say to my teams. It's smarter organizations, because that's basically what it's all about for any CEO, C-level function out there. How do I get to adapt to any challenge the world is throwing at my teams? How do I make my teams future-proof in such a challenging world? I mean, we see it every day in the news, right? So that's it. That's it, Michael. That's what we are trying to achieve.
And I love that. You know, it's a bold idea, and at your client event next, you kind of laid out that it's really about building adaptive capabilities. That's what performance depends on, rather than just having big learning libraries where people just absorb it and then you think that they can apply it. What's interesting, and I think it would be great for the audience to think more about this, is why capabilities and not just skills, like the new currency for performance? And how can an organization move from skills-based training to capacity-based transformation, at scale?
Well, I know that for the last few years, everybody was talking about upskilling, trying to create skills-based models. But I would say upskilling alone isn't enough anymore. You can train thousands of people in your organization as a business, but that won't guarantee improved performance. And especially in today's fast-moving world, some of the skills can become outdated just overnight. It's not because you learn about something that you know how to do something, right? So it's how do we go from I learn to I do, and from we learn to we do as an organization, not just as an individual. So what truly matters from our perspective, at least, is the ability to adapt so quickly, strategically, and across the entire organization. And that agility doesn't come from individual skills alone. It comes from capabilities. Hence why we are so much focused on those, which are a dynamic mix of skills, behaviors, habits, and the ability to apply them to real world situation, especially under pressure, especially facing new challenges. So if you take a very simple example like AI prompting, for example, you can deploy the latest tools and train people to use them, but unless they use them responsibly, consistently, and in the context of real work, the impact will be very limited. For us, that's why capability is a measure of real performance. And this is what we are evolving towards. We are moving beyond individual learning. And we said that when we had our next 2025 back in May, beyond content libraries, to help organizations build cultures where learning sticks and transformation lasts, I would say. Because it's not only about what people know, it's about what they can do. That's really what I keep repeating, because at the end of the day, that's what is having a true impact on the business performance and its adaptability. So what people can do together when it matters most. Our vision is therefore that we help organizations to become not just more skilled, but more capable, resilient, and future-proof.
Yeah, and that's a great segue back to something that you said earlier is companies are looking to execute real organizational development strategies and not just looking for point solutions that offer content or offer some kind of platform for delivery. How's CrossKnowledge addressing that directly? How are you meeting the need, especially in terms of the consulting services, proving out the business case ROI? How is CrossKnowledge addressing that very important objective?
That's certainly the most critical and relevant question, because when we presented our shift towards capabilities, that's really the one question that came up back in May 2025. All right. I mean, all the clients, when they heard that story, that new strategy, they were asking that same question. So it's the most important one, clearly. And we are facing organizations, clients that are looking at us not just for training. They are looking at us to be a strategic partner, to turn vision into capability building and organizational growth. So what sets us apart, I think, is this ability to drive transformation by integrating consulting, learning design consulting, learner marketing consulting, transformation in some cases, technology, content, and services. So that's really that blend where, as a single provider, as a single vendor, we can support our clients. And a platform or content library on their own can't do that, really. So we help organizations define and execute development strategies that stick, that really demonstrate impact. So we focus on 5 enablers of organizational development, leveraging those 4 tools I mentioned: consulting, technology, content, and services. The first, capability frameworks. So we start by defining the capabilities needed and creating a shared language around performance and culture, because that's really critical. That's really our starting point. And the second one is targeted learner journeys. We design role-specific paths that align individual growth with strategic goals. Third is programmatic learning. I know that sometimes the word is not so well liked, but at the end, it's really, I think, the best definition, because we deliver immersive programs that build lasting capabilities and drive behavioral change. Thinking about this as a continuous program, bringing on entire teams on the journey, entire parts of the organization on the journey. Ecosystem integration is clearly the fourth one. We connect platforms, we connect tools and content to make learning seamless and scalable across any formats and experiences that we want to make available to the audience based on the client's requirements. And so the fifth one, clearly the last one, is analytics, which is where we can demonstrate the ROI, we can demonstrate the impact, we can turn learning data into actionable insights that would demonstrate that we are hitting all the objectives that the business has set, where learning impact is not just measured in terms of learning hours on number of courses that were completed, but truly maybe in increase in the revenue, reduced churn of clients, and higher satisfaction in the way the support is handling client support requests, very objective measurements and key performance indicators. So with these 5 enablers, that are the pillars of the approach. We go beyond one-off courses, one-off learning events. We help organizations embed those capabilities, systems, and culture that make change sustainable and scalable, really embedding it into the way they approach learning and the way they work. So it's at this stage, it's through organizational transformation. And if we look ahead, the vision is to empower organizations to become learning driven by design, where there is a strong enough understanding that capability building is not a reaction to change. It must be an anticipation to change. And it should be a core engine of growth, resilience, and innovation. So really future-proofing the organization. We always come back to that. Whether it's an economic crisis, sanitary crisis like COVID, the pandemic and things like that. How do you get to be ready for that? That's where we really help our clients.
It's a great
long explanation, but it's not a simple method.
No, I love the 5 pieces, but I love the fact that you're looking at it holistically for the client to say you need services, you need technology, you need process, you need a good business partner, you need all of those things to be successful with this transformation we were talking about. What I also love too as a takeaway is it is truly organizational development. It's not skills-based training. It's not just delivering training, with no decided or definable endpoint. It's really saying we have to target a group of people and take them to the next level of readiness in order to meet the needs of the organization. And you want to build capabilities, because I think that also springs into, you have a more mobile talent group, you have a more mobile workforce, you have people that can move around to get more agile folks, because you're building capacity rather than just building, how to do this, where skills are coming and going every day. The life expectancy of skills can oftentimes be very short. So I love all of that. And it's nice to hear that type of thought leadership from an organization like yours, because I think more companies are going to be facing that as time goes on. But I appreciate you joining me today, Guillaume. And
you're very welcome.
It was very insightful, very logical, very step-by-step as to what you laid out, what companies need to do to make that transformation be successful. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I was inspired by our clients, especially the IT part of the organizations, because they are so intrinsically driving transformation. But they, I think, gave me and others at CrossKnowledge the keys to the understanding of what really matters to them and the way they think and how they are trying to plan ahead. And that's inspired this a lot more. It's going to be transformational for learning and development functions or HR functions, because embracing capabilities and transforming the business to future-proof it is something that is being handled by a broader set of decision makers within organizations. And it's what's make it so exciting for us as well. It's a broader playing field. But thank you so much, Michael, for having me today. I could keep going forever.
I know it's such an important topic, and there's so much that could be talked about, but we'll talk about it again. It'll be interesting to see what 2026 brings with all of this as well. So maybe we'll have a chance to revisit it.
And maybe one day we should discuss how we inflected our content development strategy and how we are transforming our library to actually support that very strategy. Maybe another day, just a bit of a teaser.
I like that. We'll get that scheduled so we can hear all about it.
Okay.
Thank you. This is Michael Rochelle again from the Brand Hall Group. Thanks for joining.